Tracy. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now, what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
Oh, give me fucking truth, baby. Come on. Let's go.
How have I been successful in life?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to issue a warning to everybody else in Toutmaster. Because I'm 1 for 1 on picking cards, guys. 1 for 1. Nailed it. I didn't do well. I'm no M. Bassett 34. Congratulations. Winning Toutmaster after week 1 of the proverbial season. Nobody with a perfect card on Saturday. A couple 10-1s, but nobody got them all right. But Toutmaster is off and running. Welcome. We are off and running on another edition of the MMA Analysis. I'm your host, Brad. Joined, as usual, Sean. How are we doing? We've got the questions. Are you questioning yourself or the fading of the listeners?
The question is, don't fade me yet. It's going to happen. We all won last week.
Yeah,
we know what's going to happen, and especially because it's a UFC card or a pay-per-view card, so we know what's going to happen.
Canada card.
I'm doing well. I am happy that the Toutmaster sign-up has finished, because that is.
Is the wife happy that the Toutmaster sign-up is finished?
The wife is very happy. She was getting short with me come late Friday, so glad that we hit the numbers. Big shout out to the Dogger Pass boys, because they boosted those numbers, and it was a record 217 entrants this year. So
big money.
That's
top 4. I'll go home with over $1,000.
Yeah,
not too shabby. We don't keep anything for ourselves. So if you win and you appreciate all of Sean's hard work, drop him a little tip at the end of the year, because he's a poor boy stuck in the hinterlands of Canada with a child now. I mean, that's no environment for a child. You got to give the man some money so he can move on up.
Get out the igloo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was literally just about to say, with that weather up there, the man is living in an actual fucking igloo with a child up there. Like, that's wild shit. Like, Sean posted, and then I saw it on like our news down here reported about it up there, to where it got so cold to where Fahrenheit meets fucking Celsius or whatever, and it can't get like
below that.
That's just nuts, bro. That is crazy. Yeah, we are experiencing.
You want a shitload of money.
I want a shitload of money.
Didn't
Where?
you?
Oh, on fights,
like
yeah. Last week, I mean, okay, I did all right. I mean, I kept my card under 10 bets, under double digits. Won some money, but talking to Sean before the show, we're already aligning on a couple things. We both won last week, so it might be time for y'all to pull the old fade trigger.
Pull the shoot.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I know we got some of that shit coming off of y'all's air up there down here now, and it is fucking brutal. It is around 4 or 5 Fahrenheit with a wind chill about 15, 20 below Fahrenheit. So it is it's frozen down there.
What does that mean?
Funny enough, up the street at the Mire, we have a big super electric car charging station, and it's funny to see all the Teslas out there that can't move because they can't take a charge in the fucking cold. Like, just a genius. The man's a fucking genius. His truck can't drive up a fucking little fucking bunny hill, and his cars can't charge. Good shit.
Love it. Masterful gambit, sir. Masterful gambit. Currently here in the Fahrenheit, it is 12, feels like -4. So
Hyper
you might even have it
Blue.
worse than I do, Wesley. It's
Hyper Blue going to the press conference tomorrow. You missed all the good shit today, bro. Don't bring your child if he might be gay, because Sean Strickland might shoot him in the face.
I didn't see exactly what Strickland said, but just knowing who Sean Strickland is, I don't know why anybody is shocked.
Hey, look, it was pretty bad though. Like, look, we've all heard him all say a lot of dumb shit. The rant he went on today, it was I mean, we all know this is MMA and we separate shit. I'm gonna watch the fight Saturday still regardless, but I tell you what, that shit today was just a little out there, man. He's literally your 60-year-old grandpa at Thanksgiving that's been on Facebook and Fox News for 15 years. It's literally what Sean Strickland's turned into. I just find it really weird myself. The dude's on a podcast 2 weeks ago crying his eyes out about the abuse of his father when he was a kid. Yet today he's talking about a man being weak because he would have unconditional love for his gay son. That's somehow weak. But he can't.
Well, Wes, CTE, it's really tough to be a fighter these days.
It's a heck of a drug.
I don't
even think it's the CTE with this dude either.
I'm not giving that dude that excuse on this shit.
Yeah.
He's just a piece of shit. He's just a
that's the cherry on top.
Agree, disagree, live your life the way you want. But that's if you preach that, you should live by that. If you think you should have your freedom and live the life you want, then everybody should be able to live.
Everybody else, yeah.
Live and let live, man. That's how I live my life, and to each their own.
There you go. I'm sure you'll get a couple nuggets at the press conference though tomorrow, Hyper. I'll eventually watch this card, but got better things to do.
Got the Rock
on Saturday night. Undefeated still, baby. Let's go. So yeah, you won't see me tweeting much during the fights, which I've tried to do less anyway, because like I'm trying to be engaged and actually watch the fights when I'm watching them. It's tough sometimes. It's tough. But last week's card, pretty easy to watch. It wasn't a bad one. I think I saw everything. We're going to kick it off. Flyweight division. Joshua Van, second round TKO over Felipe Buns. It was a nice performance, I guess. Everyone's talking about how he starts slow and picks it up, but he's also still like 21 years old. He'll figure shit out. He's going to be all right. Lightweight division, Nicholas Mota. First round, a minute in, drops the Australian prospect like a bad habit at plus almost 300. I mean, we're never going to learn. I mean, not we, like the royal we of MMA bettors and community. Featherweight division, Jean Silva as a minus 80 billion favorite. First round TKO over Weston Wilson, who probably out of a job. Got to be out of a job at this point. Bantamweight division, Fareed Basharat, unanimous decision over Taylor Lapus. Grandpa McGee getting the standing TKO. He was just battering that boy all around the cage. Second round, old man strength is real. He throws punches like Sean Shirk, though. He's got like real gator arms
T-Rex
going on. Yep. And the final prelim, Preston Parsons unanimous decision over the Smelly Burger. That actually I didn't watch that one. It's the only one I did not watch because why would I? Sean, your thoughts?
Joshua Van's fun. Like you said, he's very young, so hopefully he keeps progressing. Give him a step up. Did not see that coming from Mata. That's for sure. Gene Silva, looked like a -1 billion favorite, and Weston Wilson looked like a guy who should never have fought in the UFC ever. The Basharat brother, he's pretty fucking good. Lapalus showed good takedown defense, and he didn't gas out, and he still has skills. Like, I don't know if he'll ever be elite, but he's got a pretty good overall skill set.
This is the shittier Basharat brother, right?
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, McGee, that finish was very fun to watch. And Preston Parsons cashes a plus 400 decision prop for me. So I quite enjoyed that one.
Wesley, anything on the prelims?
Yeah, just Van could be the real. Another 125 or 135er in that range that is just absolutely fun as fuck to watch. There's dozens of them. Lost the over, one of the few bets I lost on the card. Nolan was a parlay killer quick. I'm glad that I'm trying to stay away from shitty big faves like that this year, because that's one that would have probably caught me speeding last year. Silva fight was just pure comedy. I laughed most of that fight, watching this little short dude just walking around battering this guy that should have never got a fight in the UFC. All the things Sean said about Basharat, like Lapalus, good takedown defense, good cardio, like decent fighter, and Basharat thoroughly won that fight. Think he's decent. I'm a McGee fan. Like, I like the way the guy talks afterwards. That no, like, we like some dudes that are nuts and run their mouth. Other dudes can be calm, collected, and not say nothing. That's fine. McGee's that dude. I like that he goes out in the fucking ring and those bungalows with those T-Rex arms. That shit is fun. And yeah, easy over on that Schnellenberger Parsons fight. I think we even said on the show last week, whoever you're betting on that fight, take the nice number at the decision. And Sean took Parsons' decision. I ended up sprinkling a little Schnellenberger decision, not tracked or none, but took a little small stab there. Didn't come through, but had a nice bet on the over there at some nice plus money.
Nicely done. Main card. Take it off over in tragic fashion. I mean, we got the consensus.
Got the big bet though.
I got some goes decision. Arlovsky was robbed, man. Mark Goddard, how are you gonna let a guy do like the full Stooges, double, triple, quadruple eye poke and just stand there and
that was bad
to an old man? That was elder abuse. All right, that is unacceptable. And he doesn't even get like a free ophthalmologist down where Arlovsky lives. You're gonna make a man spend his $250K paycheck getting his eyes fixed because you couldn't call a damn eye poke, Mark Goddard.
Man can barely see around that curvature of his nose. Like, God, he needs all the eyesight he can get.
Everything's got to be aligned very specifically for him to be able to see. All right, let's not fuck with it. Anyway, we got there with some bets on that one, but not the bomb. But
would take. I mean, he got the second. He literally had a shot in the third round. Like, you're not taking that from 10 to 12 to 1 Arlovsky decision every single fucking time against Waldo Acosta. Like, absolutely you are. And 1.5 there, that shit was laughable. That was fucking hilarious. We saw a 1.5 on an Arlovsky fight.
There's a couple more totals that we might like this week. We'll get there. Sean, anything on Arlovsky?
Nope. We'll take it.
Wonderful. Philly Hogs didn't learn like the first 4 times in the round that he got hit with a flying knee, and eventually it says flying knee and punches. It was just kind of weird. Like, somebody opened a door somewhere, draft came in, caught Philly Hogs on the wrong side of his chin, because he ate everything up until that point, and then it was like that glancing blow, just netherworld. Just this man gets knocked out in spectacular fashion. Sean?
The kryptonite. That chin is the kryptonite. I threw a dart on him by KO round 1. I figured it was going to be him or the other guy, and it was obviously the other guy. It's not a good look. He probably should hang him up, but he should at least go to PFL and try to win some money there. Bad when you're getting taken down by Bruno Ferreira.
Yeah, and then just laid there for like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Wes?
Yeah, I mean, the guy honestly should never fight again. He's legitimately got one of the worst chins that you'll see in MMA. Like, it's wild. Yeah, I mean, maybe a lower region. I mean, you could. I'm sure he could start some bums before they got a hold of him, before they landed something big on him. But I mean, is that really what? I mean, every other thing about Phil Haas is absolutely UFC level caliber, whatever that means nowadays. That chin's just bad. Yeah, I ended up just taking both round 1 KO. I think the Phil one was plus 400 or something, and the Bruno one was like plus 225, plus 250. So it was free money. 5 seconds left in the first round. I guess it got close, but it got there. Somebody was not.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about that one, but ended up with some Bruno round 1 that worked out. Didn't bet this one, but it worked out for Mario Batista. He might be pretty good at fighting. Takes an unanimous decision over Ricky Simon Vato. Sean?
Good call by Wes. I don't know if you had any money on Batista, but I was on Simone. I thought he'd be able to get takedowns, and Batista was just absolutely shut that down, and you just saw levels to the striking game. Simone has got better striking, but it's nowhere near what Batista is, and he showed wicked cardio and just absolutely took over in that third. Impressive.
Wesley?
Yeah, little plus 160 on Batista. Not just the takedown defense, because Simone did get a few takedowns in that fight, but
Get up.
Batista did not just lay there whatsoever. Was immediately getting up. Like, even over the improvement on his takedown defense, just his get up game, his scrambles was just way improved. Like, if you would have said Ricky Simone's going to get 3 or 4 takedowns on Mario Batista, you'd be like, he's probably going to lose a decision here if he's going to get taken down 3 or 4 times. Absolutely not. Then on the feet, man, just the jab, the length, hell of a chin. Like, Ricky Simone hit him with some bombs. I mean, just hell of a chin. Mario Batista might be good.
Somebody who's definitely good. Jimmy fucking Miller. Does it again, proving for once and all that he is a cardio beast. Taking that grappling game into the third round and submitting Gabriel Benitez. Yeah, gotta love Jim Miller. Sean?
Yeah, the old
I
man
guess
is
you
impressive.
don't love him because you had under 2.5 here, right?
I had the under, but it was already dead because of Simone, so I was just happy. I was just happy for Jimmy fucking Miller. The man is amazing. It's kind of crazy to think about how, you know, his career kind of got fucked up by the Lyme disease. Maybe it kind of saved him because he kind of took some time off and wasn't taking big fights, and he's taking smart fights right now. He's not trying to step up much. He's just, you know, fighting guys that are in the UFC that are kind of on his level. He's obviously getting a bit of a step up for 300, but maybe he can get some magic on 300.
Bobby Green? Is that what I saw?
I think he's getting another one about on his level again. This is nice. I like it.
Bobby Green might just give that fight away too. So
Bobby Green might give us another Jimmy fucking Miller sub, which I got on this one at plus 400, which was fucking beautiful.
Yeah, we talked about that one a little bit. Yeah,
saw the video of Jimmy fucking Miller today talking that wants the fans to message Bruce Buffer and have him announced as Jimmy fucking Miller at UFC 300. And I think that's something that just absolutely has to happen now.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, dude, like this man has more wins than any man that's ever stepped inside a UFC octagon. Like that's incredible. I don't care the longevity of it or whatever. To do it this long and still be winning fights against guys 5, 6, 7 years younger than him and shit, like that's incredible. That's an incredible career. Like we throw legend around a lot. You have the most wins in UFC history. You're going to fight on UFC 100, 200, and 300. You're a fucking legend. You're a Hall of Famer. Like some dudes probably don't belong in the UFC Hall of Fame that are going to get in there just because of their names and longevity and shit. Jimmy Miller probably fits that mold. But I mean, you have the most wins in UFC history. You probably belong in the Hall of Fame. So legend. That dude's an absolute fucking legend.
He's certain. I'm trying to think back to when we started. Just everybody collectively started referring to him as Jimmy fucking Miller. It's probably been like pretty close to a decade at this point, which is crazy because the only other guy that gets the fucking treatment is Johnny fucking Lineker. And he certainly didn't last for a decade after we started calling him Johnny fucking Lineker. So good for Jim Miller. Main event. The boring Russian punched the other guy. He fell weird, and then it was over. Fun.
It was over. It definitely hit the over.
Over 1.5, barely.
Never in doubt. I mean, in fairness, it kind of was never in doubt. The finish happened shortly after, but it wasn't like there was a lot going on.
Yeah, it was typical. Yeah, I don't know. It's beating Johnny Walker, getting a title shot is kind of weird, but this is light heavyweight. It is a trash division, so it might actually happen.
Should be Krylov.
I mean, look, I'm perfectly fine with it. Like, serve him up to fucking Pereira. Serve him up. Like, let's see him fucking stand up. Like, I don't know. He'll talk a bunch of shit and come off this knockout and then just spam takedowns against Pereira. Like, it's exactly what happened with this motherfucker. Look, Johnny Walker, though, I will say, this man, when he falls in some of the most spectacular fucking ways, bro. Just the one before this where this dude literally came up like off of his feet and like just spectacular stuff with Johnny Walker. I don't give a shit about Yawnkalaev, man. Like, great performance, great win. You're knocking out Johnny Walker, man. Like, I don't know what you really say about that.
I did that 2 weeks ago. That's it for UFC Vegas, whatever. I know this is a pretty widely held sentiment at this point, but I can kind of do without the Vegas cards. It's enough just doing them for the Contender Series. You don't need to have every other card in the Apex.
It's just like the atmosphere just makes it even worse. Like, you're gonna serve up these fucking half-baked, quarter-baked cards. At least have a crowd so that when somebody does something cool, even if they don't fucking matter, and even if they are some no-name guy, the crowd cheers and it's a cool moment instead of in a fucking hollow warehouse.
How many careers have been built off some no-name nobody having some type of performance in front of a crowd, saying something wild on the mic afterwards, and that was the start of their fucking careers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes that moment and energy of all those people. I do find it very funny that the Saudis were like, get your bullshit out of here, and they just moved that shit back over to the Apex. You know what I'm saying? Like,
probably the only time I've ever agreed with them.
We got to do a lot of bone sawing around these parts to get this kind of money we pay you motherfuckers. Like, don't come over
here. You think a fight night's gonna fucking wash this shit away?
Yeah. You think we're sports washing this blood money with fucking this fight night card? That shit was hilarious, man.
Once you get up into the billions, it's a different kind of wash. All right. These people are used to a different kind of quality. We've got UFC 297 See, normally that would have been a great segue if we were like a normal pay-per-view, and I could have been like, speaking of quality,
It's
UFC 2 no.
two Canadians though. They do not. They give y'all pretty much fight night cards, bro. It's kind of fucked up.
Just be happy it's not a women's main event for a Canada pay-per-view. That's about all you can be thankful for.
Yeah, I hope the people who are going enjoy it, have a good time. There are lots of Canadians on the card, just not in any of the fights that matter because they're Canadians. But yeah, we're gonna kick it off. Flyweight division. Malcolm Gordon holding it down for Canada, taking on Jimmy Flick. Wes, you go first on this one. We're gonna do this.
Yeah, I mean, I know our boy Jimmy Flick is coming off a couple tough ones. Against a couple tough dudes, though. Even Charles Johnson, like that was a tough matchup for Jimmy Flick. Man, Malcolm Gordon is just on the other end of that, I think, in my opinion. Like, not a bad thing getting armbarred by the Mookie, but I mean, Jake Hadley worked that motherfucker over. I mean, his last couple wins are Dennis Bondar and Francisco Figueiredo. Like, those have been like a couple years ago now. And he's over a 2-1 favorite against Jimmy Flick. Like, I don't know. I can't get that far, man. Close fight. I think Flick, if this can get scrambling, if this can get on the mat, it could be a very good night for Jimmy Flick. I think he can probably get it there points. I don't think he's completely like outclassed on the feet or anything. I don't see Malcolm Gordon getting Jimmy Flick out of there like these past couple dudes that he's gone against. Man, plus 185 out there on Jimmy Flick. I just feel like that's something you have to take. And if Malcolm Gordon performs in front of the home crowd per se and pull something off, then so be it. And then I was also looking at a little Jimmy Flick submission is sitting around plus 335 right now. I'm pretty sure when everybody drops lines, bet 365 and stuff, there's going to be better than plus 335 on there. That might creep up to plus 400 or somewhere around there. So Jimmy Flick sub it somewhere around that number and a little Jimmy Flick money line. Let's start this Canadian card off bright and proper with a Canadian getting their ass choked out.
I think that could be very possible. It's I was looking at the Jimmy Flick submission, but I think I'm just going to take Flick straight up in this one. Gordon can grapple like a little bit.
Yeah.
Jimmy Flick only loses by getting super gassed when he can't get takedowns and getting knocked out. And I don't think Gordon has scored a knockout against a fighter with a win on their record, like maybe ever. Not a lot of power. As LR is pointing out, Jimmy Flick might be named after legendary Canadian Martin Short and his character back in the day. So that's
who's the real Canadian here? Like,
yeah, exactly. I think the Jimmy Flick round 1 submission, because he's gonna go for a takedown, like hop on an arm triangle or something like that, is always in play. So maybe if we get a big price, I'll take a shot on that. But I've got to take Jimmy Flick here. I mean, Malcolm Gordon is over a minus 200 favorite in the UFC in a fight against a guy who like can do things. Can he do everything great? No, but he can do certain things very well. And that could be enough to win him this fight. So Jimmy Flick plus 185, that is definitely getting some of my money. Sean, did we talk you into it?
Yeah. Both these guys are good. They are both very flawed fighters. One of these guys is Canadian. and then the other guy is plus 185. It's pretty simple. What Malcolm Gordon is going to knock out Jimmy Flick. The last guy that Malcolm Gordon knocked out that wasn't an injury, an arm injury, was Michael Jordan back in 2017. So that says a lot. I'm
he did MMA too.
He knocked out the Michael Jordan.
The Michael
Holy
Jordan.
shit!
Holy shit, man!
So that's pretty impressive. I think it was in a street fight. I'm not 100% sure.
Mike has known to get on that liquor a little bit, man. You just never know.
Bet going
but yeah, I'm on Jimmy Flick plus 185 at Bet Online right now. Let's go.
Jimmy Flick, consensus bet of the week.
Get out of the way.
We're getting grimy already this year.
Yep. That's just what we're dealing with on this card. Keeping it in the flyweight division, but switching the gender. Jasmine Jasudavicius taking on Priscilla Ketchabeating. Sean, is that exactly what she's going to do in this fight?
Probably. I mean, I don't know how much beatings Jasudavicius actually gives to the ladies that she's beating. Cachoeira is not very good. I'm probably still going to throw a dart on her by KO. Once 365 comes out with a nice number, I'll probably take it there. This is just low level shit. And Cachoeira does have power, but if she doesn't catch her early, it's probably just going to be a wrestle fest and a very boring 3-round decision.
Ooh, Wes?
Yeah, I don't know if I can bring myself to take a shot on the old Ketchabeating here. I sure as fuck wouldn't be laying minus 400 on this Canadian chick though, especially coming off that last fight. The angle I was looking at, because I think it's dog or pass here, no doubt. The under 2.5 is like plus 130 at Bet Online right now. I think if you do think Ketchabeating's going to win, you think she probably pulls something out here, catches her with something, and then you're still kind of safe if she doesn't, gets laid on, maybe takes a beating and just finds a way out of there. So I might take a little of that under. Definitely going to pick Ketchabeating and Toutmaster. I just don't see how you're laying minus 400 on this chick in this spot. I think we might see some really overinflated Canadians on this card. That's not unusual, but I think come fight night, some of these are going to be really big prices that it's going to be hard not to take small shots on a lot of the dogs against them.
That is quite possible, but at the current price, I am not interested in Ketchabeating. I'm actually leaning more towards Jasudavicius decision. This one. So even that's still like minus 125. Maybe you'll find a plus number out there eventually, but not interesting at all to me. Definition of a dog walk fight. Welterweight division. Sam Patterson. Isn't he like the future, the present, the past already? I don't know. He's taking on Johan Lanes, who is he feels like he's from TriStar. Does TriStar still exist? Is Faraz still a thing?
His coaches Faraz Sahabi and Richard Ho.
There you go. Is that Dr. Ho? Like the electrical pad guy? That dude? Do you guys have that shit in the States, Wes? Dr. Ho's?
Dr. Ho, late night fucking infomercial.
Nah, but we don't have what he does. He do like tens machines.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have him here, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Shit!
I think we got it.
Dr. Ho. That's It's the OG of the 10
Every
machine world.
every country's got their own little late night info fucking guy, right?
Anyway, Johan Linus, Sam Patterson, Sean, break this banger down.
Why is Sam Patterson, who's from England, why would he not fight in Cage Warriors? Is Cage Warrior, like, I would have. That's still a thing. Like, that's a decent.
Oh yeah,
he's fighting in Brave and fucking, like, I'm not sure why he got some hype. I don't think he's that good. Lioness is not good either. These both guys are trash. Let's hope this gets sloppy and this goes some distance.
Mhm.
I can hope for that, Wes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping for here. Yeah, both of these guys are just fucking horrible. I don't know how Sam Patterson. I don't know. He gets one of those contender series fucking contracts, gets smoked by was that the Jewish guy that smoked him? Yeah, the old Red Fox smoked him fucking last time out.
Yano Lashnaz.
Yeah.
Anal.
Should have known Brad had something for that. Yeah, and then Johan gets smoked by him a lot. These guys are bad. Just how I'm looking at it, most of these dudes they get fucking smoked by dudes just better than them. Knockout guys that are shitty, like old Patterson was doing it Brave, and this dude was doing it fucking CFF fucking C. They fight each other, and it's usually just two bums.
It's actually CFFFC.
God, no, I'm just we'll stay.
The extra F is fraud or what?
I think
Cage fighting fucking fraud fighting championship, baby. You know it.
Let's add all the F's, you know. Yeah, I think this just turns into two bums fighting. A bum fight over 1.5 at plus money. It's just kind of calling to me. I think this definitely probably gets into the second round and might even see 15 minutes or so. Plus 130 on over 1.5. Probably take a little stab on that. Man, aside in this fight, your guess is as good as mine. I'll pick Johan because Patterson is 6'3" and it's like a buck, whatever the fuck they're weighing here. So I'll take Johan.
That is fair. For my pick, I don't know that I'm going to be betting him, but I'm going to take Sam Patterson. I'm going to take some over, and I might start sprinkling some round 3 on Sam Patterson in this one. Maybe even if the prices are like super different, I might look at sub round 3 instead of TKO. Because he's one of those guys that he'll like hurt somebody and go for the sub, but I don't know what the prices are right now. So Patterson's going to be the pick. We're going to have a little play on that over because I agree. Two guys that both got finished pretty easily in their previous fights, probably going to come out a little bit more tentative. We saw how that went for Linus. I think it was weeks that he fought. And that was like at a much slower pace than all of his regional scene stuff. So I think it's going to be a bit slower and Patterson will eventually take over. So that is the pick and the potential bets there. Women's strawweight division up next. Jillian Robertson, Polyana Viana. Round 1 armbar incoming. But Sean, Wes, you guys can break this one down while I go grab another beverage.
Yeah, the parlays are piling in on Robertson. Good luck to those folks who are trusting her at minus 400. Is she the better fighter? Sure, but she also is a bit of a fraud, and if she grapples here, would we be surprised if she gets caught with something? I sure as hell wouldn't. I do think Viana's got to get it done probably in round 1, or she's gonna tire out and gas. Her round 1 sub is like plus 1,000. Her by sub is like plus 650. These are darts, absolute darts. But if you're looking for action, they're not the worst darts in my opinion. Wes, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, like Robertson is absolutely the better fighter here, but like, come the fuck on. Are we at the point where she's a minus 300 fave? And when it like she's literally got a loss last time to Tabitha fucking Ricci. She's lost to JJ Aldridge, Miranda Maverick. Like, seriously, you're minus 300. Look, like Viana sucks, and it's just not a price. You know what I'm saying at this point, plus 250 or so that you're taking that shot, the sub maybe like you pointed out. You know, the only angle I was looking at in this fight was the under 2.5, but it's like minus 150 and shit like that's you can't fucking touch that in a women's fight. If that was even money, I would be taking the under here because I think Robertson's gonna snatch something second round or something, maybe in the first, or Viana gets something early. I don't see this going 15 minutes, but at that kind of price in a women's fight, you can't lay juice on an under like that. So I don't know, man. I think Robertson wins. If I put it like this, I think Robertson wins. I'll probably pick Viana and Toutmaster, and I want nothing to do with my money on this fight.
Yeah, I'll probably put $25 on Viana round 1 sub. Takedown, armbar.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's go on to the fight after this fight, but this fight is happening in the bantamweight division. Serhi Sidi taking on Ramon Taveras. Two guys who apparently don't know how to spell any names correctly. Sean, should I know who these people are? Like,
no, like they should just rematch on the Contender Series. Like you're gonna put them on a pay-per-view card. What the fuck are we doing
wait, this
here?
is a
like
rematch?
It's a rematch of a Contender Series fight because old Kevin McDonald stopped it early after the one guy dropped the other guy. I don't give a fuck.
Wesley?
Yeah, this guy that can't spell his name right should probably call in and get his Toutmaster pick changed, or at least have it cut in half. Like it's just probably not a Toutmaster pick or a Tapology pick that you want you really want out there. But I have no idea here. I don't even really remember their Contender Series fight, so I have no fucking clue, man. I don't know why these guys are fighting on a fucking pay-per-view. No clue.
Looks like somebody's trying to
one guy's Canadian.
Some baby carrots and some peas.
This man's got a pot of fucking beanie weenies in his shorts, dog, and he needs to they need to call in on somebody.
See, this is why MMA fighters need managers. Or maybe don't need managers. Somebody get this man a manager.
This man an OnlyFans page. It's the type of shit you post on Xvids and shit, dog. This all fucking Tapology, bro.
I didn't see the Contender Series fights. No idea who these people are. They're on UFC pay-per-view. Tavares has been on Contender Series twice?
Yeah.
Jesus. Still don't know who they are. Anyway, next fight. Featherweight division. Charles Jourdain taking on the alien himself, the Slender Man, Sean Woodson. Sean, do you feel represented when you see someone like Sean Woodson in the UFC? that my people can do this too.
6'2", 145. Yeah. I'm not that goofy looking.
No, you're not. You're very much not. But
Yeah,
proportions.
proportions are fairly close for me, but yeah, I don't know. Woodson's he's an interesting guy because there's times where he looks actually decent, and then there's times where he looks fucking terrible, and you're surprised that somehow he's racked up 5 wins in the UFC, or I guess, well, sorry, 4 in a draw. Jourdain's getting hammered again with parlays. He opened like minus 135 at Bet Online, and then it kind of evened out at by minus 185, and now it's minus 220. So people are just parlaying him up. I side with Jourdain. He's a guy that you'd like to bet on when he's a dog. Him as a favorite is a bit concerning because he does have some holes in his game. It could be an interesting fight. I just don't want any part of it. Jourdain's a decent Canadian, but he has still let us down. So it would be the ultimate letdown if the alien Sean Woodson somehow takes him out. But I'll pick Jourdain in Toutmaster.
That was such a nice way to say that Charles Jourdain cannot wrestle at all. You know, he's got some holes in his game. So Canadian of you. So Canadian.
I mean, I don't know if that's going to get exposed here. It might.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what Sean Woodson really wants to do, and I'm not sure it even matters. Like this is a close fight in a kickboxing match. Like Sean Woodson is a crafty fucking striker, man. Jourdain's flaky as fuck at home. That crowd, all that pressure, man. Like, I think Sean's right. This is a dude you want to bet closer to even money, small dog against a dude in a close fight. I mean, he's coming off 2 wins. Like he beat fucking like Space Cadet Kron, who is just done. And then like just grabs a choke on fucking Ricardo Ramos, and like we're him as a 2-1 fave against a decent dude, man. This is one of those spots for me that where this line's just too wide. I'm gonna have to take Woodson. Probably gonna wait and just wait for all this parlay money to come in because it's gonna happen. I think Jourdain goes up even higher. I think you're going to see over 2-1 on Woodson. So I'm going to wait it out, but Woodson's going to be a bet for me here, man. I just think it's too wide on a guy that what's he really done lately to deserve being a 2-1 fave against a crafty sort of bet at this point. I don't see it personally.
I like Jourdain here. Probably just because like Woodson looks the way he looks. So can never like him.
You got to cheer for your earthling, fellas. Like you got to
Right.
bet against the aliens. Right?
If we let Sean Woodson start winning big fights, I mean, this isn't a big fight, but if we let him start winning fights, who knows what the next stop is for those aliens. I just think eventually Jourdain throws enough to the body, enough volume, enough power that he's going to hurt Woodson to the body. And Woodson does not have the power to get rid of Charles Jourdain, so he's going to have to deal with that volume, body work, pressure for 3 minutes or as much of that as he can. I kind of want to take a shot on Jourdain by sub because I think after you get hurt to the body, he's the type of guy that's going to jump on your neck. We already saw that our boy Juicy J was able to get Woodson out of there with a front choke. So I think Jourdain has a very good front headlock series and might be able to do the same. So don't love parlaying any Canadian at minus 220, minus 200, whatever he is right now. But I don't hate the idea of him by sub at +6 or higher in this fight, which is currently available. So Jourdain's going to be the pick for me, and maybe a little prop in there as well. moving back to the bantamweight division. Brad Katona, one of the greatest tough winners of all time, taking on Garrett Armfield. Brad Katona won tough at some point, right?
He did.
Okay.
Twice.
I wouldn't want to.
He's won it
legitimate
twice.
One twice.
Yeah, exactly. One of the greatest tough legends of all time. Just like I was saying, I knew that. I knew all of that. I know everything. Sean, these guys are fighting.
They're fighting. I would love to fade Brad Katona. I think he is not very good, and he trains at SBG, which is just a classic fade.
Is it
I
like
don't know.
two negatives canceling? Is like a negative times a negative. He's Canadian. He's training at SBG, so it's just so much negativity that it becomes positive.
Here, that might cancel out against Garrett Armfield. That might be a possibility. I don't know what you can take from him crushing Toshiomi Zama.
He just did the business. Yeah, he did the business.
Yeah, that's. I think Katona goes back to more of his boring style, not like he did against that very fun fight against Cody Gibson. I think he goes back to grinding and getting takedowns and probably win a boring decision. So I don't know what the price on that is, but I think you'd be better off taking Katona by decision than fading him, in my opinion. But I will do neither.
Wes, what are you doing?
I'm fading the SBG fighter, the SBG Canadian fake Irishman, whatever the fuck he is at this point. Look, like on tough, he lost to Valuev. They gave him just a greasy fucking decision. Throws down with Cody Gibson, fine, like he was taking punches and shit. Armfield hits like a fucking truck. He's gonna throw bungalows. If Katona gets into exchanges here, he's gonna get punched. So we'll see if that chin holds up. Like, I think Katona's the better overall fighter here, but I think he's gonna take some shots, and we'll see if that chin's still holding up. Like, Katona still at this point is 32 now. Like, he's not some like prospect anymore coming off a tough. He's been in a ton of fights over the past 4 or 5 years as well. So I mean, back to SBG again, like, what a shit gym. Armfield's training at Killcliff, which, if you don't know who that is, that's fucking some of the biggest killers on the planet and one of the best striking coaches on the planet. So I think Armfield is.
How many names has Killcliff had now? Because it was like
Black Zillions.
It was Sanford. It was Black Zillions. Before
originally,
Black Zillions, it was like
it's
American Top Team, and
it's the same coach, but the money kept changing. You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude that actually, funds them kept changing. Like, the Black Zillions were huge, and then dude dies. You know what I'm saying? So, but Killcliff is still a legitimate fucking gym. A lot of those dudes stayed with Henry Hoof for a reason, because he is one of the best all-around striking coaches on the planet. Yeah, and this one, I just think Armfield is going to throw bungalows. It's one of those, if he dies, he dies. And then we're talking about a line here, man. Katona is fucking 2-1 here. I mean, come on, man. It's Brad fucking Katona. I'll take a little Armfield. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If Katona has a great game plan, smothers him and lays on him and shit, then so be it.
Do you think Armfield can win a decision here? Because it feels like if it goes to this, I know last week I said it feels like if the fight went 15 minutes, Ricky Simon was going to win. But
I feel a lot worse Armfield getting a decision in Canada against Katona than Batista getting one. I think if Armfield does, he needs to like drop him in a couple rounds and then survive a round is how it's going to be, because Katona's definitely going to be the one trying to grind and steal rounds, no doubt.
Armfield TKO out there at like plus 500, by the way.
Yeah, that's you. I'll take a little of that. Absolutely, I'll take some of
that. As good of a case as Wes made, I kind of think Katona never should have been cut from the UFC in the first place, and like he's still fine. I think this is the type of fight where he's gonna grind. Like, look back at the guys that he lost to; those are good fighters before he got cut.
Yep.
I think he's gonna be able to grind out a win here. So Katona by decision, little Canada judging bump maybe, but we'll take it. And I don't think I'm gonna have anything on this fight. If I do, it's probably gonna be that Armfield TKO 500 or higher. Main card now, featherweight division. Arnold Allen, Movsar Evloev. That's a good fight. Sean, this is a good fight. What's going on?
It's a very good fight. It's a very good test for both of these guys to kind of see. Arnold Allen got kind of away close to almost a title shot, and then fell short against Max. No shame in that. We've been hoping that Evloev gets a step up for a long time now. It's an interesting matchup. I wish Arnold Allen had fought a couple more grapplers at the top end on his way up, but I just don't know how many grapplers there are in that weight class. Just a lot of strikers at the top end, but these guys both fought Nick Lentz. Nick Flintz is a flawed fighter, but he was gritty against both these guys. This number seems to be getting a little bit wide. When Evloev was, minus 155, 165, I could see that. It's getting a bit wide. I think Evloev probably gets takedowns and gets a decision. It'll be interesting to see if Arnold what he can do off his back, because I'm pretty sure he's going to get taken down a decent amount. Is he going to be able to get up? Is he going to be able to kind of do anything like Diego Lopez did against Evloev, which was threaten from the bottom and get him to scramble up to the feet? Because if it's on the feet, I do think Arnold Allen is probably the better striker. Evloev's pretty decent on the feet as well. This is just be an awesome fight. I don't think I'm going to have a bet on it, but if this number keeps ballooning, I'm probably going to have to throw a small shot on Arnold Allen.
Wes, before we get to you, you mentioned Max Holloway. Is he actually going back up to lightweight and fighting Justin Gaethje?
Man, didn't learn his lesson after fighting Dustin Poirier, and now he wants to fight Justin Gaethje, the guy who just knocked the fuck out.
I didn't fight a guy that punched hard enough.
Not bright. Not fucking bright.
He's just in a tough spot, man. Because he's obviously lost to the champion as many times as he had. I mean, I guess he could wait around and hope that Topuria, wins. But if Topuria wins, is Volk get a rematch? Probably. So he's still stuck.
Needs big fights. He just needs big fights at this point. There's just not a lot of big fights that people just want to see.
Just wish he could go up to lightweight and fight somebody as not as heavy puncher as
like Moicano or something at
he fights fucking Dustin and Gaethje. 2 trips, like
balls. The balls of this man.
He's legitimately fucking got massive bull nuts. Like, the guy's insane. He really is.
Anyway, Wes, you can break down old Allen and Evloev.
Yeah, really, really close fight. I get the case for taking a shot on Allen here. You're getting like a top 10 dude at almost 2-1 and a fight that should be fairly close. Like, it's not a bad bet. I just personally think Evloev's gonna get those takedowns in this fight, man. I read a stat earlier that Allen's last 4 fights, he's faced 1 takedown attempt in those last 4 fights. Not even he did stuff it. I don't know. I mean, it was against Max, Cater, Hooker, and Youssef. Literally, dudes who couldn't take down a fucking bag of potatoes. So that's gonna be different here. And I'm not sure. I think Sean's right. He's gonna end up on his back. Like, if I can remember right, Allen's never been great fighting off of his back or scrambling off of his back and stuff. So I think what we're going to see here is he's probably going to lose 2 rounds somewhere. He's going to probably need a finish in this fight. I'm just not sure that Allen's got the pure knockout power to get Yawnkalaev out of there. And that guy rarely gets hit. He rarely gets hurt. He rarely gets put in bad spots. So, I mean, I know the line's gotten a little wide, but I just feel like there's a far clearer path for Yawnkalaev to win this fight. But like I said, wide line at this point, and I could absolutely understand the case for taking a shot on Arnold Allen. I'm picking Yawnkalaev. I think he probably gets a decision here. I'm being way more selective this year, and I don't know if this is a 2-to-1 fade that I want to parlay. I'm not sure what his decision line is. I think it's juicy as shit the last time I looked. So probably just might have to pass on this one. Yeah, Yawnkalaev decision is up to -145 at Bet Online. That's just, I mean, that's 50 cents off the money line. You might as well just lay it on the money line if you're going to do that. So this is probably a pass, but should be a very interesting fight. 2 top 10 dudes in the division.
Yeah, we really haven't seen a lot of Allen's grappling since early in his UFC career when he couldn't really defend takedowns at all. The more concerning part about those fights is probably that he did tend to hang out on his back quite a bit. But he's got a decent guillotine, so I don't know if he could do something with that against Yawnkalaev. He's just shooting crazy shots from outside. But I expect this to take place on the feet for a good portion of it, so I think it's going to be a competitive fight. I'd lean Yawnkalaev just because he's probably going to have more volume. Allen relies on like the big shots, the big moments to win rounds. So it's very easy for me to picture him just losing 15 minutes of kickboxing with the occasional takedown mixed in. But man, it's starting to get wide. It's starting to get too wide. But I did pick Yawnkalaev as my featherweight champion at the end of the year. So that can't be right unless he wins this fight. The pick will be Yawnkalaev by decision. But yeah, it would be more interesting if Arnold Allen won, I think. Middleweight division, we've got welterweight Chris Curtis taking on the power bar Marc-Andre Barriault. Sean?
I think this ends up being a close fight. When Barrio is losing, I mean, save for the 15-second knockout against Njokuani, he's usually losing because he's getting out grappled. He's not going to have to worry about that here. This is going to be a striking fight. He might be able to lean on Curtis. He's not going to be able to take him down, but he might lean on him a bit on the fence. But so this is, for the most part, going to be a kickboxing fight, and Barrio throws a good amount of volume. He seems to be able to throw a good amount, even late into the third rounds. Could Curtis catch him? For sure. Curtis has good body work. But I just think this is a bit of a wide line. This is probably going to decision, and betting the Canadian in a close fight, I don't think is a terrible idea. So this probably will be the only Canadian that I back. Just small. He's like +1. Was he like +160 at this point? I think that's worth a small stab. Yep.
+167. Bet online.
Yep.
Wes?
Yeah, this is the scary one. This is the one I kind of align right there with Sean here. A Canadian. Look, like Chris Curtis has given us some really fun fights over the past couple years, but we can't forget that he was getting out. Jack Hermanson was hanging with him on the feet in a kickboxing match. Buckley was hanging with him.
Jack Hermanson was frustrating the fuck out of him on the feet by just not brawling with him.
Gastelum pieced him up on the feet. Probably should have or did win that decision. Imavov was fucking him up before the headbutt. So like, I think like we're forgetting Chris Curtis is like 36, 37 years old now. Ton of fights. Hasn't looked great over his past 4 or 5. Um, I think Sean's right also about Barry on this fight. Like the cardio, he's going to be pushing forward. If there's one dude that's going to be clinching and slowing it down and pushing somebody against the cage, it's probably going to be Barrio. He's going to be the bigger man in this fight. He's like 6'1", legit middleweight, to where Chris Curtis is 5'10", kind of stocky. Not small for the weight by any means, but Barrio's going to be the bigger guy in this fight. So man, like if Curtis just doesn't connect on some crazy like 3-piece and just fucking catches Barrio with something that he doesn't see coming. I mean, I like Barrio on this spot, man. We've seen Barrio's chin. Like I said, we talked about his cardio. I mean, he's like plus what 180 now or something. That's
No,
it's too
167.
167. That's too wide, man. I like Chris Curtis. Man, he hasn't looked great past few fights. It's really tough to bet on a Canadian, especially a French Canadian in Canada, but we're gonna do it. I'm on Barry on this spot. I like him for a bet.
Curtis getting older too. 36
He's
now.
36, almost 37. Yeah.
40 fights.
People, because he won them a lot of money when he first came into the UFC, they for a while pretended that he was like a top 10, top 15
He didn't just
middleweight.
retire and shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's like 3 times.
Yeah.
And like, there's a reason that this dude was on the regional circuit for 10 years as a guy that was almost there.
He got better coming into the UFC and stuff. Like you could see was a better fighter and stuff and took it seriously, got good training and stuff, but he still hit a ceiling with all that at 36, 33, 34, 35 years old, you know.
He's still also a welterweight fighting much bigger guys anytime that he's up at middleweight. So I can see what you're saying, where Barrio can get in there, dirty it up a little bit, hold him up against the cage. Sean, as you said, he's not going to take him down, but he could control some of that stuff. Is it going to be enough? Maybe in Canada, it'll be enough, but I think that Curtis still has the much sharper hands.
Definitely.
He's not exactly a guy that gets tired easily, so he's going to be landing on Barrio every time as he's coming in for the entire 15 minutes. I do kind of lean to the over here. It opened up a whole lot better than it is now. It's like minus 150 now. I think it was pretty close to even when it opened up. So don't love that, but maybe based on what you guys are saying and what I'm thinking about the over, there's some Barrio decisions out there at like plus 400, plus 425. And I don't see a way that he finishes Chris Curtis. That dude can't get taken down and he's tough as hell. So maybe some Barrio decision plus 400. I don't hate that now that I'm starting to think about it. We're going to think about the welterweight division and surging contender Mike Malott taking on this is the highest placed Canadian on the card, folks. I mean, he must be good, right?
What a prospect. The 32-year-old prospect.
They're pushing him like he's good.
32-year-old
prospect that is minus 400 against old Neil Magnomedov. Sean? You smell that?
Yeah.
Fighting out a team alpha male. Holy shit. This man's got it all.
Yeah. Malott seems like a nice guy.
Proper.
He's had some very interesting matchmaking in the UFC. He's done what he's supposed to do. Credit to him. He's smashing these guys they're putting in front of him. This is a guy who is 32 years old and is only 10-1. Like he took a ton of time off between 2017 and 2020. You know, it's interesting. Like if you just ask somebody that follows UFC fairly closely, like they would, I guarantee you they would think this guy was like 26, 27 years old.
Yep.
This is a very good test for him. Magny has definitely been kind of slowing down here. I faded him against Phil Rowe. I thought Phil Rowe would get him out of there. So even though it went to decision, I had already lost there. But he is fighting pretty fucking elite guys. Call Ian Gary whatever you want, but he seems to be pretty damn good. He fought Gilbert Burns, D-Rod, Shave Cat. Like, he's not fighting cupcakes at this day and age when he is 36 years old. I think this is a good test. I think Mike Malott probably grapples Magny and gets him down. I think we'll know fairly quickly how good his jiu-jitsu is. Magny's, fought off against pretty good guys. The elite guys can usually get him out of there. I don't think Mike Malott is elite. So I'm looking at like over 1.5. It's not at many books, but it's at Bet365. It's like -130. Mike Malott by decision is like +450. I think that might be worth a shot. Those are kind of the angles that I'm looking at in this fight.
Wesley.
Yeah, if you can get an over 1.5 at -130, I would bet that. I don't care what sides you like here. I would probably bet that. Look, Malott should win this fight, could win this fight. He's a 32-year-old fucking prospect with like 11 fights training out of Alpha Male. You're giving me Neil Magny against this kid at +300. I'm taking fucking Neil Magny. I don't care what stage Magny's at this point. These are the kind of fights that this guy fucking wins. Like, yeah, he got beat by Gary as a big dog there. I bet him there, of course. Gary on the come up. I like, say what you will about Gary. He's better than Mike fucking Malott. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a tough fight for Neil Magny. This might end up being a tough fight for Neil Magny. He's +300. Magny decision is +500, +525. I'm absolutely taking a half on both of those. And I will look on Bet365 because over 1.5 at 125, 130 is that's the angle in this fight. That's a good find.
Yeah, love that over. I think, geez,
I would
other
like
than
I would
like
consensus that over. If we were looking around, like I think that's a good bet, man.
yeah, I will be playing that. Do we even know if Mike Malott can strike enough to like concern Magny? Because he's basically just taken dudes down and grappled them. Like, he knocked out Mickey Gall, but
Yeah,
okay.
that doesn't matter.
Who doesn't?
I just don't know if it matters in this fight because I think his grappling is good enough to get Magny down.
You think he's just gonna hop into that clinch and not get Magny Medoffed? I love that over. Love the over 1.5. But this is Neil Magny country up here in Canada. I don't know who this Mike Malott feller is, but we appreciate our Black Russian immigrants in Canada. So it's going to be Magny Medov. Now, the question is, are we just going with the money line, or are we looking at the decision at 500 and up? Because we really don't know enough about Malott to know if he's going to stick around if things don't start going his way.
You would kick yourself if Magny does what he did to D-Rod.
I would. I would very much do that.
D-Rod makes pretty good business decisions, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
true.
like I don't know if Malot's quitting in front of the Canadian fans. Like that man might have to move down to Sacramento and like try not to get shot if he gave up like that. We'll see.
But yeah, to me, this is very similar. I mean, the fighters themselves aren't similar, but I had to take Arlovsky at plus 550 last week. I've got to take Neil Magny at plus 300 against a guy that I don't know is actually good. So Neil Magny is going to be a play. Maybe some Magny decision, but maybe we'll just temper that decision enthusiasm with some of that over 1.5. So, yeah, I love it. I'm in for it. Co-main event. Women's bantamweight division.
Jesus Christ.
The fight that even Myra Bonesaw says is shitty.
Big fan of her for being honest with everybody.
I honestly, great move. Great. She's won me over. I'm not going to watch the fight or be interested in it, but she's won me over. She's taking on Raquel Pennington for the vacant bantamweight title. Sean.
The Bonesaw has an interesting career trajectory. She goes to a draw with Montana De La Rosa, gets beat up by Firo, which Firo's good, beats Wu Yanan, who's 1-5 in her UFC career.
Who Yanan?
Who? Then she finishes Stephanie Egger, who is 1-3 in her last 4 UFC fights. And then she finishes Lena Landsberg, who's 0-4 in her last 4 UFC fights. Then gets a Holly Holm fight and beats Holly Holm.
Future UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion Holly Holm.
Former, future, and forever champion, forever title contender Holly Holm. She's only 1 fight away at all times. I'm picking Pennington. I don't think I could bet her. She is not very good, but is Bueno Silva just turned into an absolute killer? I don't think so. Pennington's fought the much better fighters. She's not good, but she's beat a bunch of better fighters. And it's women's MMA, and she's a decent dog, so that's the Toutmaster pick.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Wes?
Man, Pennington has won a lot of fights to where she's like probably not won a couple of them, pulled some shit out in others, like where she's getting her shit pieced up. I don't give a shit. This is like laughable at this point. I'm picking Bonesaw. Can we move on?
My whole narrative of Holm being the champion at the end of the year, it relies on the Bonesaw win here.
Rematch.
You got to get that rematch.
She was
only
on the
1
yams.
fight away.
She's on the yams. We need a rematch.
That's right. Exactly.
Hey, whatever happens that fucks over
out.
Juliana Pena, I am in. So if we
That's
have
fair.
to suffer through, not like I'm going to watch it, but if we have to suffer through a Holly Holm versus Bonesaw rematch for the title, and that means that Juliana Pena doesn't get a title shot, I'll deal with it.
Love it. Love it. Main event. Man, this card went from like promising to just like real quick. Middleweight title. Sean Strickland. It still seems funny that he's the middleweight champion of the world, taking on Dreykus Third Dreykus. Sean, shout out to Dan Tom for that one. That's a classic.
That's good. I'm really coming around on DDP. These guys are both terrible human beings. I'm taking that completely out of this for now. DDP seems a lot better than I ever thought he was. I just thought this dude was a meathead. He was gonna get exposed by Robert Whitaker. He was gonna get exposed by Derek Brunson. He didn't really get exposed by those guys. Like, yeah, I guess Brunson had a little bit of success, but obviously that absolutely came crashing down when DDP came through in the second round. The guy's actually supposedly has pretty good grappling, which we don't really see. He's a physical beast. He is not going to point fight like Izzy did against Strickland. He is going to come forward, and I don't think Sean Strickland is going to do well against a guy like that. I lost a ton of money on him against Pereira. I would not be surprised if DDP smashes him out of there. If it goes a bit longer, it does get concerning just because Strickland doesn't throw with any power and has cardio and pitter patters. But I think DDP is just going to force an action fight, and that is going to side with DDP. So I like DDP plus 115. I put 3 units on it.
DDP yoga is legit. Saved Jake the Snake Roberts, Scott Hall.
Saved his life, saved LR's life.
Yeah, just saving lives all over the place. Yeah, it's crazy that there's a white dude that's like, I'm a true African in this fight, and somehow he is the better of the two fighters as far as a person goes. So that's fun. MMA. Wes, thoughts on the title fight here?
If only Sean Strickland could have been raised by the old Diamond Dallas Page. What could have been? Yeah, I think this is. I mean, I could see a case for both of these guys. At this point, I'm leaning the old DDP fucking bonk is what I'm leaning towards as well. I mean, we've seen Strickland against a guy that sits back and counters. If he's got some power, of course, Pereira catches him. We saw a guy that comes forward on him a few back in the old Crystal Man, and that did not work out well for Strickland in that fight. That's DDP's game plan. I think he's got to come forward. He's got to make this crazy. I'm not sure Strickland is good in a fight like that. Now, man, if this gets to third, fourth round, you got to be worried. Like, we just don't know. We don't know at this point what the old DDP is going to look like going long, man. That dude's fucking jacked. So, also will say, man, I don't know, some of those training pics of fucking Strickland coming out this week, that no testing shit going on is working well for some guys, because Strickland ain't never had abs, and that motherfucker is ripped for this fight. So, little concerning, but still don't think he's got any punching power. So, I'm gonna go Drakus in this fight. I'm not 3-unit fucking filling Drakus, but it's like it's 75% head here, 25% heart, because Brad said, one dude's a shitbag, the other one is a full fucking on turd, and I would just love to see this guy go down like Bryce Mitchell a couple of weeks back. I would feel like no remorse whatsoever if he's on the mat twitching. Like, it would not bother me one bit. I don't care how anybody feels about it. It wouldn't bother me one fucking bit to watch that dude on the canvas fucking twitching. And I hope that's what happens. I'll take a little Drakus plus money. Hopefully he makes that happen for us, and somebody bonks his ass next time out.
Yeah, I think if I had to bet a side in this, I'd probably take the plus money, just because of what you guys said. He doesn't have like great punching power, but he's just got like weird strength overall. Yeah, that was a great one from Steve, as always. I think I'm just gonna take the over here, though. Sorry. Ugh. I must have listened to Sean Strickland say something. Yeah, I just think that Strickland is good enough defensively when somebody is coming after him. Like we saw the Cannon fight didn't go great for him, but he was able to defend himself, survive. I think he can do the same here, and then maybe start to take over late. So I guess if I was predicting a specific outcome, it's going to be a Strickland decision. But I'm just going to throw a unit on over 2.5 here. I got it at -115. That is much worse than the opener that came out. But I think it's just going to go some distance. And towards the end, it might look like Strickland just piling up points as Drickus tries to shoot some terrible takedowns and hope they work, and they won't because Strickland's a half-decent wrestler. So Strickland retains. Don't love that. Sean, what did I pick for champ at the end of the year? Did I pick nothing? There's nothing in the
I picked Strickland. I picked Strickland. I'm already off the fucking train.
I'm trying to have continuity with my thoughts.
I know. I got to fill in. There's a couple of those where I was searching for picks and stuff like that, so I didn't fill yours in.
That's fine. Anyway, I don't think it was either of these guys. I probably picked something dumb. I think I picked Whitaker, actually, which I could see. Anyways, Strickland retains. It's maybe not great, and maybe it's bad enough, or between now and Saturday, we get some fights canceled, and Dana promises that he'll make it up to us, which we always know that he does, because Dana would never lie to anyone.
Never.
So maybe the next Toronto card will be good, or I don't know. They've only really done Toronto and Vancouver somewhat recently. Edmonton and Calgary were like, I don't even think there's been a Calgary, but Edmonton was a long time ago. Halifax was a long time ago. Anyways, it's been a while since they've been to Canada. Maybe it'll come back more frequently. Maybe Canadian fighters will get better, and then there's a reason to come back. All of those seem equally unlikely, but that's what we're dealing with. You dealt with us for like an hour and a half, so I appreciate anyone that listened through the whole thing.
Week off next week. Enjoy it, because we're coming back for another Apex card.
Horrible too.
Can't wait. GSB was the peak. That's it.
Good luck.
See you later.